Frank and Lori Doman are the ranch directors here at Arden, just south of number 7 highway between Peterborough and Ottawa. Frank and Lori, how long have you been here?
Well, we've been here for 14 years, September 1.
20 years in all, Frank, on the Circle Square Ranch staff. You were at Brantford before you came here?
Yeah, we started in 1989, so it's 20 years, September of this year. So
is this just a job or is this a calling? What would you say, Lori? There's a difference between a job and a calling, right? Sure. What's the difference?
For sure. This has definitely got to be a calling. It's a lot of work and a lot of kids that come each week, but we see wonderful fruit each week. Kids give their heart to the Lord.
What do you mean by fruit? That's kind of a Christianese term. How would you say that in ordinary Canadian or American?
No, we see kids' lives changed here each week at camp. They come, and by the end of the week, we see such a difference. Our teen week, especially year to year, we just see a huge difference from beginning to end.
And Frank, why do you do it? You have done a phenomenal job here. You have made a significant difference in your 14 years here. Built new buildings. Back behind the hotel is another brand new building where groups come for retreats, men's groups, women's group, pastors. They come here and spend the time. And of course, all the old main street of like old Tucson here. These are bunk houses. Frank, why do you do what you do?
I guess it would be the young boy who came last week, and he was from foster home to foster home, and he basically said, you know what, nobody wants to adopt me or love me, and just broke my heart and telling him that Jesus does love him.
What did you say?
Here comes the Pony Express!
Hey, the Pony Express bringing in the mail. Actually, the Canada Post lady was here just a few moments ago. Whoa! Okay, come on back, Frank and Lori. Okay. Okay, now I've seen this for over 30 years now at our Circle Square ranches, and the first two, and then this one here, maybe 29 years since it opened. And can I just tell the story about this ranch?
Yep.
Sure.
If I can. You know, I mentioned last time how we started Circle Square Ranches. There was a little girl that wrote into the Circle Square TV show and said, "Dear Circle Square, Mommy and Daddy, Mommy and I don't know where our daddy is. Can you help us find our daddy?" And I wrote to the people, and I kind of got the blessing, and then we released that telecast a couple of weeks later, and within a week after that, we had a donated property first in Alberta, because I read that letter on the Crossroads TV show and said, wouldn't it be something if somebody would donate a ranch or something like that? And Canada's steer wrestling champion Phil Doan actually, and his wife Jane, donated the first ranch property in the west, and then we opened one at the same time here in the east. But this particular property in Arden, now when I was in Bible college, I had a teacher of missions who, on her way to Trinidad, she and her husband to found a seminary, a Bible college, and they were torpedoed by a German U-boat. Her husband and they jumped together, and their hands were wrenched apart when they hit the water, and she never saw her husband again. But she was rescued, went on to Trinidad, founded a marvelous Bible college that saw hundreds and hundreds of ministers of the gospel go through all the islands of the Caribbean. And then she had a brother who lived in Arden, Ontario. And he contacted me and he said, I have 350 acres, a trailer park, waterfront. I'd like to donate it to Crossroads Ministries for a Circle Square Ranch. So I thought, you know, that kind of sacrifice, that kind of giving, kind of ran in the family. And now, you know, 1,500 at least every year, plus year-round activities and so on, Frank. That's a lot of money. 350 acres plus a trailer park, an active trailer park here. Did you know the chap that donated it? Did you ever meet him?
I didn't know Ken. I've heard of Ken.
And Kelsey.
Ken, people have talked about Ken. And the interesting thing was this morning, I just asked the Lord, why do we do what we do? And he gave me Jeremiah 23. And basically he says, this is a safe place. This is the pasture. I'm bringing my sheep. And I need you as shepherds to take care of them. So God brings them from all over Ontario. And Ken knew that, gave it to Crossroads. And this is his pasture to take care of his sheep.
And he's in heaven, sharing, I'm sure, well done from the Lord. And then I was saying, you talk about a safe place. Frank, that's the first time I've connected that particular Bible sentence with the ranches. And it is a safe place. When you think we're pushing up, it must be 250,000 children and teenagers that have spent at least a week each at these ranches across Canada, 9 of them now. And yet I was casting in my mind about, certainly, I mean, they go galloping through the bush on those trails and so on, but they take lots of lessons first and safety first here. But nobody's been killed on the horseback out of 250,000. As far as I know, no serious injuries from the horsemanship program.
No, we have incidents because horses are animals, right?
But no serious ones.
No, God's hand of protection has truly been on this ministry. And as you said earlier, each year there's hundreds that give their life to Jesus Christ. And you know what? That's the hope we have, is Jesus Christ. And that's the only hope.
Frank and Lori, I'm just so proud of you. You've done a phenomenally good job here at this Arden Ranch, and you've given your life so completely to the Lord's service. And it's certainly not as for a reward down here, because Crossroads is, I think, kind of notorious for not paying, a lot of big salaries. But anyhow, here we are, and they're going in right now for lunch. And I brought a young man with me. His name is Robin. He's my neighbor, where Norma Jean and I have our place that we built between Ottawa and Kingston in the area where my relatives live on my dad's side. And Robin I just consider him an absolute prodigy. He's 15 years old on the guitar. So he's going to give a little music there over lunch. So we'll listen a little bit. We'll go inside, listen a little to Robin.